All right, is everybody gone? Okay, all right, thanks. Hello, how are you? I'm okay. I was okay on my couch for 15 minutes.
I had like a half an hour today.
Yeah, that's about me. I had about 30 minutes to change and get something to eat real quick. Oh, you're gonna get one? Yeah, I don't know about that. I haven't made up my mind on that. I thought we were pretty much gonna nix it, but I wonder if I saw the email about reduced fees, membership fees and everything for the employees. Yeah.
We're probably live, by the way, just so you know.
You already on here. Come on, who's that?
Log into the email.
Is your mother enjoying retirement? I know it's.
My mom.
Oh, your
I
mom.
did not get it to use the one off the phone app. It was saying the app was
Well, good.
responding, so I set it up with my work email, but I have to have somebody at work to give me the code. So I looked at it today and got all the emails.
That's awesome.
They literally left. I called and they tried their cell phone. So I think it left in. No, I just wanted to go through the reports here. Right. And it won't even refresh to what I was looking at. So it is what it is. No, I right away, I tried the QR code and it was saying the Safari couldn't open up the path. That my path wasn't right. Well, I tried to do it on my cell phone so I would have it all the time. And it would not. Anyway, so I did my second email, that's my work email, but the only place I look at my email first is at work and nobody's there. So.
It is 5:35. We'll give it a couple more minutes. I don't know. I think at least 2 more council members are coming. We'll give it a couple more minutes.
don't know.
All right, we will go ahead and call this meeting of the Community Development Committee of the Kankakee City Council to order today, February 5th, 2024. Calling the meeting to order at 5:35 p.m. We will start with public comment. If anybody is here present to make a public comment, we ask that you come forward, speak into the mic. Please provide your name and address. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anybody here for a public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to roll call. Alderman Prude. Here. Alderman Barron here. Alderman Osenga. Alderwoman Swanson.
Here.
Alderman Navarez. Alderwoman Johnson.
Here.
Alderwoman Noble.
Here.
We have 5 members present, 2 absent. We do have a quorum. Next item on the agenda, if you could take a look at the minutes from the January 2nd meeting. A copy of those were provided in advance of this meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the previous meeting.
I have a motion by Alderwoman Swanson.
I'll second.
Second by Alderwoman Johnson. All in favor? Or excuse me, is there any discussion or comments on those minutes? All in favor of approving the January 2nd minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes carry. I'll go on to the approval of the bills in the amount of $324,930.24. Anything to report with the bills that have been presented?
Nothing significant, except that you'll see that CDBG payroll was the largest amount. So that is similar to what we've already approved for the lead hazard control grant. This is just reimbursing the city for the payroll that is specific to that grant. But that's the largest piece of the billing for this month.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion to approve these bills and have them paid? Or excuse me, just approve the bills.
A motion that we approve the bills.
Motion by Alderwoman Johnson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Noble. Do this on a roll call vote. Alderman Prude. Alderman Barron, aye, but I abstain as to Grosskreutz, Abraham Eshman, and Garrett C., and the other items to Heritage Executive Center. Aye to all others. Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Noble.
Aye.
The bills are approved. Move on to the departmental report for the ECDA.
Thank you. I'm going to jump right into our program. So lead program, we have closed out the 2018 grant. So we just finished through all of that closeout process. Pretty sure we'll probably have some questions and we'll have some more meetings after HUD does their final review. It's always how it goes. There's always some things to button up. So, but that grant is closed and we are in the process of amending our lead grant from 2022 because we had an overlap between lead grant programs. The 2022 grant was only operating in Census Tract 132. And so now that we have the 2018 grant closed out, which was citywide, we're now amending the 2022 grant to give permission to operate the lead grant in the city underneath that funding. So we have that process that we're working through right now. Also, with the retirement of Ms. Gadding, we hired Crystal Louie. She was in the police department. She also had some time in the building and code department. And she's now the new lead program manager. of stepping into that role. She's got quite a bit of training to undergo, but she will be taking on the 2022 lead grant, so there is a lot of paperwork to get her the clearances that she needs to operate in those federal systems and do the grant reporting. So we've got a few more weeks here of just focusing on lead in the administration roles and making sure that we get all of that paperwork done, updated budgets, new staffing, transition, and notifying HUD and getting all of those proper clearances. So Maya and I are focused really heavily on that process. It takes a lot of our time. So I know that a couple of you have asked me some questions about other tasks. I will get back on those tasks within another week or so. So just be patient with me on that. So lead is our biggest grant program, and so it's important that we get that one open to the citywide. We've got lots of people on the wait list, and so we want to be able to get going on that process. Healthy Homes is operating, and Riley's doing a great job there. So we've got some active projects. We've got one going on in the 5th ward and 3 going on in the 6th ward right now. So there you guys go for that. In our community development block grant, we have a housing rehab program going on with the CDBG funds. We've got active projects going on there. We've not completed any of these projects. We've got a lot of environmental work to do and historic work to do before we can get the clearance to begin the project. So we're working on those things, but as soon as we get the clear for construction rehab and get contractors, which is another focus of ours, we'll be able to get these projects into the very active part of rehab and into the completed category. So if anybody needs, if anybody's asking about housing rehab, the 2 programs that are open is Healthy Homes. Lead is going to get going here, but just in case anybody's asking what's available right now, it's that and the SFRP program. But everybody right now, even if your application's getting put in and reviewed, there are other people on the wait list, so they're going to be on the wait list. But if anybody asks you, those are the 2 current projects. So, and then Lead 2022 will start picking up here, and we'll get going on all the housing rehab this spring. Public service. So with CDBG Public Service Program, there are some of these projects that are still ongoing. They have not reached that 51% of people served goal, so they have not drawn down any funds, but we do have Option Center for Independent Living. They have drawn down some of their funding because they have done their over 51% goal. But Catholic Charities, NAACP, and the East Side, they do have their funding still there, and once they get through this next, I think, quarter, they will all have met their goals, so they'll start drawing down their funds as well. So everybody's working hard in this CDBG Public Service Program, and we know where they're at, and so when they're ready, we'll be able to give them their funds for the program guidelines. Remember, this program is different than CARS. We are still working on the Bradley Housing Rehab grants. We have met with them last week. The state has granted them an extension. There were some questions on I think it was the environmental review documents. The process that they went through before we took on that grant, we needed to turn in additional paperwork, and so we have been doing that. We got some of their paperwork last week from their team, and so Maya's going to be working on this tomorrow to get the rest of the documents to the state. Once we get approval for rehab for their 10 projects, because that's how many houses we'll be rehabbing in Bradley through their grant program, as soon as we get approval, we will start the bidding process for those 10 projects. So still working on the Bradley grant, and looking forward to being able to get these 10 projects underway. Our ARPA programs, I know we've talked about that a lot. We still have MIRA, so we're still working through that wait list. A lot of these people chose to wait till the springtime, stopped their process in the fall last year, so we'll be picking back up with these homeowners and doing the rehab projects there. I know it says that we are transferring that balance of R1 from round 1 into round 2. Really, that's up to whatever you guys decide. That $35,809 is money that the ARPA committee could take back if they wanted to. We do have enough money in the round two that we should be able to close out, the, 10 on the, I think it's 10 that we can do. So Mira will be okay. Rental rehab program is closed with the ARPA funds, and then, the American Rescue Plan Public Service Program, some of that money, I think it was about $190,000, should be able to come back to you guys. Round two, just so you know, the final two that we need to get through to the grant agreement phase is Asbury and Hippocrates. They have turned in all their paperwork. Asbury's, I think we still have a couple things left to do, but I know Hippocrates has. So they're just waiting on us to get them a response, and our lead work for administration, budget amendment, and negotiations is just taking up our time right now. So we'll get back with them, and we'll pick up and get their grant agreements going. Their funding is still there. We've not, it'll stay there. We just need to get into the grant agreement phase with them. But everybody else is working, so there is still available funding from the Tyrone Hegler Foundation of just a little over $9,000. Junior K's have over $4,000 left to draw down, and Visionary Community Kitchen as well has just a little bit over $14,000 left that they can spend. So everybody's still working.
Quick correction, and that's just an error on my part for creating the slide. The second request for the junior case did come through. I just did not put it in there, so that number is incorrect. I can get that to council after the meeting.
So these agencies we're still working with, so we're still spending their money. The private security camera incentive program is still open, so people are still wanting to submit for reimbursement for their camera programs for their house or their business. Not-for-profits are included in the business, so if it's a church or another agency, they can submit for the private security camera incentive program as well. So those applications are on the website. You can just direct them to the website of the city of Kankakee, or have them come to ECDA and we can help them as well. So those should be all the ARPA funded programs that we have. Does anybody have any questions about those programs?
For the CDBG, you say it much faster than I do. Do they have to use it within like a year of when they're granted? So if they don't use their funds, it comes back to you?
It comes back to us, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the same with the last one we just talked about too, like the?
The ARPA money, when in the ARPA programs, when they don't spend that money, that's the money that we bring back to the ARPA community that they can have back to reallocate.
Thank you.
CDBG is a little bit different, because it'll come back to the CDBG program. There's a short amount of time where we could reallocate it, as long as it's with a certain percentage of the program dollars overall. It's complicated, but you could reallocate it to a different program. Like, we could reallocate it back into the housing rehab program and use it there to rehab a house, so. But that's what happens to that. Outreach. So I'm just gonna say Samantha's here, so if I misspeak, do not hesitate to correct me. So events attended, but did the St. Mary's Food Pantry on January 2nd, and then there was 177 flyers distributed. Neighborhood walks in January, we've had a mild winter, so yay, they were able to get out there a couple of different times and reach 176 houses. They walked in the 4th and 7th wards. If you are wanting to walk or have flyers or information, please reach out to us. We do have a very specific system in place to help manage everybody's time and to manage the team so we can be efficient on Friday afternoons and cover the most ground. So please reach out to us let us know what it is that you have that needs to be distributed, or if you want to walk, we can get you the sign-up link, we can get you all the instructions that you need.
All of that's in your email.
Newsletter. So there are, we've had 14 subscribers since January 1st, total of 783 subscribers. Social media is growing every month, and ECDA news. So a lot of in the news stuff is about Kankakee Works, and then the lunch and learn that is happening tomorrow for business owners on first of our neighborhood walks. There's that message that says sign up link is in your email. Community meetings that we are regularly attending and staying in touch with consistently. Kankakee County Chamber of Commerce, the Kankakee Continuum of Care meetings, Kankakee County Community Outreach Leadership Team, and then the Kankakee County Hispanic Partnership as well. Anybody have any questions? That is the end of this report. Thank you so much for listening.
Great. Thank you very much, Barbie. We have no old business to discuss, so we'll move on to the matters of new business. First item on our agenda, Housing Continuum of Care Administration proposal. Barbie, do you want to say anything about that now?
Yeah, right now we are just doing some research and exploration of what potential opportunity there could be for a more focused method of funding and administration of the continuum of care dollars that come to Kankakee. Right now, the continuum of care funding for some emergency homeless services, housing services, comes from HUD through the direction of a social service agency in Bloomington, Georgia. And so the funding announcement was made last week, and just through some operational capacity issues of that entity in Bloomington, Catholic Charities was the only agency in Kankakee County that received any funding for homelessness services. And so we just have some questions, and we're just exploring and trying to figure out if there's a way that we could have a more direct funding method just to Kankakee County and not have to go through such a big regional entity that has to spread the money around like 11 counties. So just wanted to let you guys know and be aware that we're asking some questions of HUD and just researching and exploring and see what's out there. So we may have some more news in a bigger plan to talk about in the future, but I don't even know if it's an opportunity that HUD will give us or not. There is a meeting with Continuum Care members from our area and HUD in the bigger area called Central Illinois Continuum of Care. So we'll get some more feedback from their meetings and see what they're thinking and what opportunities we may be able to, I don't know, participate in to maybe make that funding stream better. There is money in this housing world, especially in the housing, emergency housing and homelessness, and so for only one agency here to be receiving funds, when we know that there's more out there, it's just a little frustrating. So, but I just wanted to let you guys know that we're doing some extra work in that arena.
Any questions? And Barbie, the continuum of care, is that is a HUD construct, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it is something that's required by HUD in order for there to be the distribution on the local level? Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay. Move on to the next item then. Kankakee Area YMCA ARP allocation request. Hopefully you saw the materials in the packet, as well as were able to attend the committee of the whole meeting 2 weeks ago tonight. There we heard one request that was received by the CEO of Kankakee Area YMCA, Will Welsh, for, I believe the full amount was $325,000. That was the full expected cost of repairs to a roof that the YMCA has been seeing. Hopefully, I think many of you were there to be able to see that
And
request.
parking lot repairs.
So that includes, yes, both parking lot and roof repairs. There was an immediate emergent need to spend, I believe it was about $60,000 on roof repairs that have been done, but the rest of the roof needs to be repaired as well. So we at the ARP committee of the whole meeting did not take any action on it. We just heard information. talked about it with the mayor, and we can take these requests through any committee, so we said it might be an opportune time, rather than waiting until April when the committee of the whole meets again, but to have the conversation here about whether or not this committee wants to make a recommendation to the full council for an allocation of ARP funds for this. Typically, we will let a representative from an organization speak if there's no objections from committee members to allowing Mr. Welsh to speak, to add any information that he might want to present towards the committee. You have what I have received from him as part of the packet materials, but is there any objection to allowing Mr. Welsh to answer questions and provide any basic comments to what the request was? Seeing none, okay. Mr. Welsh, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, the Y is celebrating 130 years this year of service to this community. We have each year, one of our goals is being in a river communities, teaching children to swim. And we take that very seriously. We have 2,000 kids a year that we teach to swim. We have a program that teaches them for free in partnership with the school that buses the kids to the YMCA. Summer camp, 400 plus kids registered for summer camp. We get 300 kids every session for sports programs. We have a full-time child care center that's off-site, but we also run before and after school care. So our before and after school care is 200 plus kids. The reason I share all of this is because the after school care program is in the schools, but schools day out, any teacher institutes, any holidays, they all come to the Y. And so the YMCA is critical in services to families in this community. And I think that it's important to share that this is a 50-year-old building, and we have done a lot of repairs. We've done about $500,000 in repairs since I've been there, replacing filter systems for the pools, air conditioning, and a number of other improvements. If we have a roof that's compromised, it shuts down. And that's a critical problem the board has been wrestling with. As Alderman mentioned, the board did authorize about $77,000 of imminent repairs to the roof that have been done. They were completed before that major snowstorm that we had a couple of months ago. When we got the estimates from Langlois, they would not walk on those sections of the roof. That's how bad it was. And it was a gamble if we were going to wait on that. So we designated some funds out of the YMCA endowment to address that urgent need. The rest of the roof is about $250,000, and then the parking lot is about another $55,000. Nonprofits, as you know, operate on a shoestring budget, and major expenses that come up are dealt with the best they can. And as an example, the parking lot hasn't been resealed or lined in about 20 years. Now, I'm not in construction, but I've been told you really don't want to go more than 3 years without having your parking lot resealed and relined. So it has led to a number of problems. We did get an estimate to replace the entire parking lot, which I won't share with you. Anybody with heart conditions don't want to hear that. But we did identify a number of areas in the parking lot that need to be removed and replaced, potholes, low areas, cracks, and et cetera. And so the plan is to do that in the spring. I am open to any questions that you may have about the proposal or about the YMCA services.
Are there any questions for Mr. Welsh about the request and the proposal? Are there any comments? Open it up for discussion at this point. Okay, so if the what the council or the committee can do at this point is to either make a recommendation that would then be brought to the full council, and I believe, just adding up the figures again, so it's $305,500 if you add the roof repair and the parking lot.
Is that the roof estimates? Yes. Yeah, we did go ahead and repair 2 of those sections, so that would not be part of that total.
So that is it's for the remaining 4 areas, which total $250,500, and then the parking lot repairs quoted at $55,000. That's the total request is $305,500.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I apologize for, for being late. I thought the meeting was at 6 o'clock for some reason. Can you educate me on what motion do you need to go on for the why?
So at this point, I mentioned previously, and I'll let the record reflect, Alderman Navarez is here. At this point, we've been dealing with ARPA funds through the Committee of the Whole, but also had a number of allocations discussed at committee. As you know, the Committee of the Whole is meeting once every 3 months at this point. After the Committee of the Whole, we, in conjunction with the mayor, had a discussion about whether it would make more sense to either wait until April to discuss this request again, or to do this through the committee. Community development made sense, given its jurisdiction. So at this point, we have a few options. We can either make a recommendation to the full council for a particular amount, similar to what we've done with the Committee of the Whole, or we can determine not to act upon the proposal at this point, in which case I assume it would be considered again in April, but we do. Yes.
So I'll make a motion to send it to full council.
You have an amount that you want to recommend?
We had mentioned 75,000. No.
Well, I mean, it's up to the committee if they want to vote to recommend the full amount or to recommend some portion of it.
That's what I asked for clarification, and I apologize again, because I didn't know what was said. If it was the full amount or it was just what we had mentioned.
I think that's up for the committee to discuss, what we think would be appropriate.
Okay, so you're looking for a motion to move it on to full committee and then make the decision on the amount, or?
I think we should have a conversation here about if we're going to make a recommendation for a particular amount, similar to what we've done with the Committee of the Whole, too.
I have a question. So this won't have to go before budget? It just...
No, because this is coming out of the ARP. It wouldn't go through budget necessarily, and none of the Committee of the Whole recommendations have. One of the points that we had talked about during the Committee of the Whole was that our CARPS program had initially been allocated $750,000. And I believe at the Committee of the Whole, it was discussed about certain amounts we did not allocate to particular nonprofits. Other amounts we expect are not going to be used by the nonprofits that we're given an allocation to. I think the figure out of the $750,000, the amount that we can expect back from that is $197,000, $680.40. That sound right in the ballpark? Okay, so that's out of the $750,000 that has already been allocated to the CARPS program that is not expected to be used by a nonprofit at this point. So it's up to committee. I mean, if it looking to fund the entire amount or some portion. Yes, Alderman.
I'd just like to remind everybody, what I'd mentioned before. We got hydro plant that's down. We allocated $1 million towards it. We're looking at $2 million, possibly for that. YMCA, there's a lot of great organizations out there, not taking away from the YMCA or anybody else. But we got millions of dollars worth of sewer repair. So I think we need to, make a decision with that in mind, So that's, we give all our money away, then we're going to have to find the money from our constituents or somewhere to do our own repairs. I think it's a worthy organization that, you know, we can put some money towards, but keep that in mind.
Comments? Alderwoman Johnson, I think.
Is CARPS is closed? You're not taking any other applications completely, not just for the year, just
Alderwoman Swanson? Or sorry.
I
you're done?
agree with Alderman Marzak, and I would think that 75 was just something mentioned in the past, and I believe that that would be a fair amount.
Any other comments? Questions?
So I'll make a motion to move 75,000.
I'll second it.
So it's a vote to recommend 75 to the full council. Okay, the motion by Alderman Navarez. Second by Alderwoman Swanson. Vote this on roll call. Alderman Prude.
Aye.
Alderman Barron. Aye. Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
Alderman Navarez. Aye. Alderwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Noble. Aye. 6 ayes, 0 noes. We'll forward the recommendation for $75,000 to be allocated from ARP funds to the Kankakee Area YMCA for roof repairs or parking lot construction.
Thank you very much.
That should be at the next meeting and the second meeting in February. Hopefully. All right, moving then on to item C for new business, the United Way Day of Action. We are here honored with a few different guests. We're here to talk about the Day of Action itself, what they have planned. Sam Rocknowski, we all know, the ECDA Community Outreach Coordinator. Mariah Vale, the United Way of Kankakee and Iroquois County's Executive Director, and Kankakee Forgives Program Manager, Mackenzie Cloy. So I will turn it over to you to explain what we're thinking about here.
All right, thank you all for having us today. I want to first give a note of explanation on how this little partnership came to be. I'll start by first explaining what is Day of Action and then how we all came together. Day of Action, for those of you who are connected with United Way, you may be familiar with this. Day of Action is something that United Ways across the globe do, typically in the month of June, and it looks different in every community. United Way here locally has existed for over 80 years, and we've celebrated this in various ways in the past. So back in the 90s, there were specific housing rehabilitation days where we just brought together volunteers and worked on 1 or 2 homes that the city or different districts in Kankakee had selected, needed some love. In the 2000s, it's looked more like literacy. That was something that we pinpointed. We collected books along with the local farm bureau, trying to introduce children from a young age to agriculture. Other years, we've just collected donations and distributed them to families who didn't have books. Just to say, it's looked different in many different years based on input from our community. A few months back, United Way shared about Day of Action in a presentation about volunteerism, and these 2 ladies with me were at that presentation, found us afterwards and said, what would this look like if we were to connect the dots? And so now I'll pass on to Mackenzie to say what came from that conversation.
Thank you. So yeah, when we heard about Day of Action, we were all over it. One of the biggest mission points of Kankakee Forgives right now is about reclaiming safe spaces. And so the idea that we came up with to be a part of Day of Action, since it is June 21st this year, and actually I'm going to be reaching out to Miss Noble here because Kankakee Forgives would like to work alongside the Juneteenth celebration the day before and volunteer to clean up the park, prepare the park for the Juneteenth celebration the next day. So that's one of the ideas that has come up. Another thing, ECDA does their walks every Friday. So there are so many different ways that we can volunteer. Those are just kind of a couple ideas. Kankakee Forgives has decided to take that day and volunteer with United Way. And so we are just here to support, share that with you guys, and really hope for all of you to get on board with that.
So what we want to do, and what we're here not only to introduce the idea, but the ask, right, is our vision is for the city of Kankakee specifically, is to see at least one project in each of the 7 wards in the city. And we're going to need your help with that. And then because United Way isn't only a city initiative, it's a county-wide initiative. If you guys have any partners in Bradley and Bourbonnais and Herscher and Pembroke, on and on, and all the other municipalities in the county, we'd like to start working on those contacts and see, hopefully, eventually, at one project in each municipality. So City of Kankakee, 1 in each ward, and then hopefully some projects, 1 in each municipality. We will not be spearheading those. Our focus, the 3 of us, our focus is citywide. So our ask is for each of the aldermen to go back to your ward, to talk to your constituents, to ask them in whatever way, shape, or form you want, to say, what do we want our project to be? What needs to be done? What would you like to help with, right? Is this a beautification project? Is this a painting project? Is this a helping seniors clean their gutters project? Is this yard work? Is this, I don't know. You tell us, right? Is this packaging senior care homes? Is this reading, going back to the literacy thing? Whatever you want it to be, going into the schools and doing something. Identify what that is. If you have people to direct to volunteer on that day, that'd be great. But we would love your commitment and your ideas by next committee on March 4th. And our contact information is on the next slide, as if you don't know how to contact me, but you know. So that's our ask. And if you have any questions, we will attempt to answer them.
Alderman?
Like I'm the only one that has questions. Is there a, I guess, a theme on this year or towards?
Not in particular. We're assuming that it will look different in each ward, so we wanted to leave it open-ended just so that everyone felt creativity and ownership over it.
Okay, thanks.
Are you doing the meetings like you did last year?
Yes, so unrelated to Day of Action, yes, since I am here, I'm happy to answer that question. Yes, so Alderwoman Noble is asking about our community conversations that ECDA hosts. The first one is Thursday, March 14th at 6 o'clock at the Kankakee County Museum. And they will stay the second Thursday of every month at 6 o'clock in one of 4 different locations. And I forgot to bring the flyers today, which is why we didn't talk about it. So. But it'll be on social soon. So. Yeah. But the first one's at the museum, and it's open to anyone in the community, not just people that live in that neighborhood.
So I understand this is not done in conjunction with Kankakee Day. It just sort of happens that it is falling on the same day as Kankakee Day. Could you explain what is Kankakee Day?
Sam feels like the one doing
Okay. Kankakee Day is basically the recognition day for, you know the answer. Why are you making me do that?
What we call a leading question.
Kankakee became the county seat in 1853. Yes. Okay. Yes. June 21st, 1853 is when Kankakee became the seat of the county government. And so this also happens just to fall on Kankakee Day. So if that's an incentive for your neighbors to also, give back to their city and celebrate Kankakee Day, then by all means embrace that too. But it just happens to fall on the same day. I don't think we're going to get Bourbonnais people to embrace that, but that's okay.
Any other questions, comments, ideas? In terms of help from the city, I mean, if all the people are figuring out what's an appropriate project, what can your groups offer? I mean, is it people? Is it help with getting the word out? What exactly is available for us as we think about what's a good project?
All right. we're happy to help with marketing and just general guidance. I'll give full recognition. Melina Pisano from our office is the one who's really the representative in this crew, so I'm just filling in for her. The three of them have really been helping shape this, but we can help with marketing, putting together recommendations. We'll share this in our email newsletter, and I'll let these two speak for their part as well.
I didn't want to misspeak, but so the entire ECDA team is going to be working and volunteering that day. Our office will be closed, and so whatever projects end up taking shape, we will be, whether that looks like different point people, volunteer leaders, coordinators, project leads, whatever in those different, so there's 9 of us in the office, so whether that means one of each of us in each of the 7 wards paired up with an alder person, whatever that ends up looking like. That's also why we're trying to introduce this in February and not May, to be able to figure out all those logistics, to say, great, this is a project, we would love 20 people to do that project, let's find those volunteers. Or, hey, you know what, that task, that's a great project idea, it's only gonna take 3 people to do it, how about we do another project too? Or how about we do a series of that thing, right? So maybe the task is, we'd really like to beautify these particular blocks, and there's a lot of seniors that live on that home, and they just really need help with like yard upkeep, trimming back their bushes. Like some people just don't have the means to do that. Okay, let's get a crew of people to just do that for an afternoon. And this is an all-day thing. Not 8 a.m., but 10 a.m. maybe. Something reasonable, But, everyone drink your coffee and then we can get together, So.
If I could too, this is an opportunity for us to rally the neighborhoods around a cause for a day and get to know each other, those businesses to come out and support and volunteer alongside of you. It's a day of action, but it's also about a day of building community and a day of getting to know your neighbors a little bit better. So think of projects like that. Even if they're really big, we would like to know about them because maybe there is a way that we could do something big too. So share your ideas. We like to shoot for the moon, so no reason why you can't either.
A project like, we had the storm that knocked so many trees down, and a lot of people still had trees and stuff in their yard because they didn't have a way of having them removed. That would be some kind of a project you'd be willing to take on?
Yes. We can rope in DPW. I'll go ahead and throw James Lopez under the bus. I mean, right? Yeah. No one tell him I said that on this live recording.
No promises, but any ideas like that, throw out. Because if we can make it happen, we will.
Yeah. Again, that's why we want all the brainstorming. Yes. So even if everything ends up not being feasible for this particular day, think of everything, write it all down, brainstorm everything, and then let's see what's doable, and then let's see what we can table and try to figure out for another day, if not that day. Because some of the things we're going to come up with end up maybe being not, doable because we need money and we don't have the money for it. Or that particular day, okay, we don't have the manpower for that, let's do it another day. Or the weather's not right or something like that, but it's something we can table for another day. So we want all the ideas.
Comments, questions? Definitely an easy order, right? We'll have to reach out to Alderman Osanger, Alderman Talley to make sure they have it for the 3rd ward, but I hope committee members will come back with ideas for the next meeting and we'll plan from there.
And we'll be here at that next meeting. We will not be there.
You're invited.
I will be out of the country, so.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that is the last item of new business. Any other new business to bring for the good of the committee? Right, we have no need for an executive session. Are there any alder people comments? Barbie, I have one question. We talked previously about housing study, the 5-year comprehensive housing study. What's the status of that?
We start planning for the second half of 2024, because we've got to turn it in the beginning of 2025. Yeah, because we're finishing our annual action plan now, which is the last that we're planning for the previous 5 years, we just started our new one. So we'll be talking about it this year for sure, because it'll be like a 6-month long project, so.
That's also a great time to reiterate the community conversations, because a lot of those topics are what we're gathering information for to make the plan. So feedback from the community is a huge part of what we bring to that plan, and the community conversations are geared towards getting that information. So Marlena Califoot, the CDBG program manager, attends all of those, and all of her notes are a part of the building of that plan as well.
It'll be a long project. We have impediments to do again, so we'll be working with Mike Hoffman. And it could be part of a huge citywide plan too. I know there's conversations about looking at not just meet the requirements in HUD, but bringing in economic development and zoning and planning strategies so that it's citywide and it's really, really comprehensive and not just meeting the federal regulations. So we have to bring there'll be a Tesca proposal coming, so.
Any other comments? Not, I will take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Johnson,
Second.
second by Alderman Navarez. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Stand adjourned at 6:22.
We've got the high school, but I don't know what, we have the high school, but I can't even think of, we